Hello there, welcome back to this video. Remember, this video is for educational issues. Let's start. I'm Dr. Sumara al-Salahi. I'm assistant director in University of Babylon College of Medicine Microbiology Department. So let's start. Our lecture today is about medical parasitology lab, Entrobius, Vermicularis, or the bin worms. So, what is the bin worms? Entrobius vermicularis is a common childhood infection, often due to sensory issues. Symptoms include anal itching, and diarrhea and sleep disturbance, and diagnosis by microscopic examination of renal tape samples. So the common name for these bin worms is a threadworm or bin worm or silkworm. The habitat for this worm is the adult worm, which live in the cecum, vermiform appendix, and adjacent portion of ascending column. The disease caused by this worm is called the Entrobius or bin worm infection. So what's the morphology of this worm? Usually the adult worm, these are a small white spindle-shaped and resemble short pieces of the thread at the interior end, and both male and female worms are passed through bare wing-like extension known as a cervical. The male measured from 2 to 4 millimicron and bare of wing-like extension, and the male measured this for length is usually more smaller than the female, which more bigger and more taller. So it is posterior on the third, and it is drawn out to the thin pointed like pin-like tail. The eggs is typically for Vermicularis worm is measured for 50 millimicron in length by 25 in the width. Somewhat of oval egg is characterized by flattened on the one side, like a D-shaped letter. The eggs are surrounded by a thin, hyaline, transparent shell composed of 2 layers of chitin. Eggs contain a coil-type tadpole-like larva. The eggs become infected after the exposure to atmospheric oxygen for 6 hours, and it's more resistant to antiseptic. The infective stage by ingestion of the eggs containing larvae. So what the mode of the infection? Usually the direct infection from the patient, like fecal or root, and arousal inhalation from contaminated sheet and dust. So what is the auto-infection? The auto-infection is the injection of the egg due to scratching of vernal area with fingers, leading to deposition of eggs under the nails. This type of infection is mostly common in the children. This mode of infection occurs from anus to mouth. So there is another type of the autoimmune infection. It is called retroinfection. In this process, the eggs laid on the vernal skin immediately hatch into the infective stage larva and migrate through the anus to develop into the warts in the colon. This mode of infection occurs from anus to colon. So this is the life cycle of the Entrobius vermicularis, as you see, that begin with external foods and the embryonic eggs ingested by the human, and the larva hatch to the small intestine, and the adult is become male and female and living in the lumen of the cecum. So what is the pathogenicity and the clinical features for this worm? It occurs mostly in children, as I said, and also in the old people. It is more common in females than the males. About 1 to 3 of the infection are asymptomatic. The worm produces intense irritation and pruritus of the perianal and perianal area, or pruritus ani. When it crowds out to the anus to lay the eggs, this leads to scratching of the skin around the anus. As the worm migrates out at the night, the disturbance in sleep, the worm crawling into the vulva and vagina and causes irritation and mucoid discharge. It may migrate and up to the uterus and fallopian tubes and into the peritoneum. This may cause symptoms like vulvovaginitis and vulvic and recurrent urinary tract infection. The worm is sometimes found in the surgically removed appendix and has been claimed to be responsible for appendicitis. Very rare instance of eosinophilic colitis associated with the Entrobius vermicularis larva have been reported. So what is the lab diagnosis for this worm? The laboratory diagnosis is like we started with the egg, which is clearly found in the feces. So we are trying to detection of the adult worm. The motile worm may be seen in perineal skin shining under the bright light when close to visual examination, are conducted during night or early in the morning. Adult worm may sometimes be observed on the surface of a fresh stool sample during garment and perianal folds. So how are detection of the eggs? The microscopic demonstration of characteristic eggs in the perineal scrubbing is the method of the choice for the diagnosis of Entrobius. Anal and perianal specimen can be collected by an NIH swab and silicone swab or Scotch tape swab method, which is the choice for this detection. The Scotch tape swab method is the simple and effective procedure. In this procedure, transparent adhesive tape is pressed firmly against vernal skin and then spread it on the microscope and observe it for pinworm eggs. The perianal specimens are best collected in the morning before the child goes to the toilet and take the bath. At least 3 Scotch tape swabs should be collected for the 3 consecutive days in the rule of out of Entrobius vermicularis infection. Pinworms are more prevalent in children, so due to the close contact to the schools and daycares, and in crowded living situations like males are twice are likely to be female in pinworms lay eggs around the anal area, causing affected then females itching and irritation. Patient is scratching and can be spread eggs on their surrounding contaminating objects like clothing and bedding and furniture. So the detection of the eggs is usually by microscopic demonstration or eggs in the perineal scrubbing of the method is the choice for diagnosis Entrobius. And the anal or perineal specimen can be collected by an NIH swab or silicone swab or Scotch tape swab method. So the eggs can be transmitted through the various means, including touching, contaminated surface, and through sexual contact. Once ingested, the eggs hatch in the gastrointestinal system, leading to infection. The pinworms typically reside to the specific areas of gastrointestinal system, such as the ileocecal area or appendix and ascending colon. Clinical features can be pinworm infection, including the pruritus, diarrhea, and restless sleep, and abdominal pain, and potential migration to the other body parts. So the complicated cases of pinworm infection, known as ectopic infection, and can occur in the immunocompromised patient, leading to migration of the pinworm through the bowel wall into the surrounding structure. So the diagnosis of the pinworm infection through microscopically visualized eggs and pinworms on the glass site, often by using silicone tape or other perineal region in the early morning. So what is the silicone test? It is usually used to diagnose the pinworm infection and preventative methods including hand washing, clothing hygiene, and bathing, medication like methimazole, and used for treatment. And the close contact should be treated with simultaneously preventing any infection. So prevention methods such as hand washing and clothing hygiene are critical in the preventing pinworm infection. So the Scotch tape swab is a very simple and effective procedure, and it is a procedure firmly against the vernal skin as you see in this shape. So this picture is including that the mother, taking this tab scotch and poke the anal area of the child and try 3 to 6 times until you take the child to the edge and move it to the microscopic examination in the lab. So the treatment of the pinworm infection involving medication like mendabazole and imports for treating close contact simultaneously to prevent renal infection. The eggs are transmitted through the included touching contaminated surface for the sexual contact on ingested eggs, such to the gastrointestinal system. Thank you.